Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, Chapter 3, the glories of Srila Haridas Thakur, text 138 onwards. So yesterday we discussed how that prostitute came to Haridas Thakur for 3 nights, and Haridas Thakur kept on chanting whole night. Then after third night, her heart transformed, and he asked Haridas Thakur what to do. I need to get the ultimate goal of my life. So Haridas Thakur told her, go home, give all your money that you have collected in this wrong way to the Brahmins and come back here and stay in this hut, chant next to Tulsi Maharani. And Haridas Thakur was going to leave. Ete bali tare naam upadeshakari, uthiya chalila Thakur, bali hari hari. After this, instructing the prostitute about the process of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, Haridas Thakur stood up and left, continuously chanting Hari Hari. Tabe sai Vaishya Guru Agya Laila Griha Vitta Yeva Chila Brahmanera Dela. Thereafter, the prostitute distributed to the Brahmins whatever household possessions she had, following the order of her spiritual master. Sometimes the word Griha Vritti is substituted for the word Griha Vitta. Vritti means profession, and the Griha Vritti of the prostitute was to enchant foolish people and induce them to indulge in sex. Here, however, Griha Vritti is not a suitable word. The proper word is Griha Vitta, which means all the possessions she had in her home. So all the girl's possessions had been earned by professional prostitution and were therefore products of a sinful life. When such possessions are given to Brahmins and Vaishnavas who can engage them in the service of the Lord because of their advancement in spiritual life, this indirectly helps the person who gives the charity, for he is thus relieved of sinful reactions. So there are sinful reactions when any kind of money is made, some sin is there. Some is there. Of course, in case of prostitute, it was completely sinful. So Haridas Thakur asked her to give everything. So in our case also, some sin is involved. That is why charity purifies the money that we have. But at the same time, Prabhupada writes, he gave it to Brahmins and Vaishnavas who can engage them in the service of the Lord because of their advancement in spiritual life. So that is where the devotees who are in ashram or in the temple, they have to be very careful. Any donation that comes, it comes with lots of karma attached to it. So the devotees have to be very, very careful in using everything in the service of the Lord. Not thinking that I'm so advanced, I'm so pure, I can do anything and everything, and the Lord will be pleased, and secondly, the person who has given charity will be purified. Only Krishna, when he says, as Prabhupada says, Krishna promises, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami. I shall save you from all sinful reactions. Only Krishna can do that. We can't. There's no way we can. Krishna is all powerful. He can liberate anybody or save anybody from all sinful reactions. And this is what Prabhupada writes. Whenever Krishna conscious devotees go out to beg charity or collect contributions in the name of membership fees, the money thus coming to the Krishna consciousness movement is strictly employed to advance Krishna consciousness all over the world. The Krishna conscious devotees collect the money of others for the service of Krishna, and they are satisfied with Krishna's prasadam and whatever he gives them for the maintenance. They do not desire material comforts. However, they go to great pains to engage the possessions of prostitutes or persons who are more or less like prostitutes in the service of the Lord, and thus free them from sinful reactions. A Vaishnava guru accepts money or other contributions, but he does not employ such contributions for sense gratification. A pure Vaishnava thinks himself unfit to help free even one person from the reactions of sinful life. But he engages one's hard-earned money in the service of the Lord and thus frees one from sinful reactions. A Vaishnava guru is never dependent on the contributions of his disciples. Following the instructions of Haridas Thakur, a pure Vaishnava does not personally take even a single paisa from anyone, but he induces his followers to spend for the service of the Lord whatever possessions they have. So this is where devotees or the management, people in management of any temple or any ashram, any movement, they have to be very, very careful. Not a single paisa should go here or there. And also, one has to be very careful. Suppose I'm collecting for temple construction, and people generally like to give for altar or for the deities. So if I have in my budget for the altar, say rupees 5 lakhs, but people like to give, I say, okay, let me collect 10 lakh and I'll use 5 lakh somewhere else. Not for myself, but still in the temple construction. Still, it's not right. The person who has given it his thought is it is going to be used for altar construction. So there are so much of karma involved. One has to be very, very careful. And moreover, if I think I can collect more money this way and use it in some other purpose of temple construction only, but is Krishna so? Krishna means Krishna doesn't have power to get some money for other parts of the construction. It's not possible. Krishna can get crores and crores of rupees. What's so difficult for it? Only thing is, we have to be careful how that money is being spent. That's all. And at the same time, we should not be employing in some questionable means of collection. That's not true. That's not good. माथा मोड़ी एक वसे रहीला से घर रात्रि दिन 3 लाख नाम ग्रहण कर. The prostitute shaved her head clean in accordance with Vaishnava principles and stayed in that room wearing only one cloth. Following in the footsteps of a spiritual master, she began chanting the holy name of Krishna 300,000 times a day. She chanted throughout the entire day. So just see, love matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi. She had association of Haridas Thakur and not even in the right mentality, but the association, and that too of Haridas Thakur, and that too the chanting from the mouth of Haridas Thakur, completely purified. Tulasi sevan kare, charvan upavas, indriya daman haila, premera prakash. She worshipped the Tulsi plant, following in the footsteps of a spiritual master. Instead of eating regularly, she chewed whatever food she received as alms, and if nothing was supplied, she would fast. Thus, by eating frugally and fasting, she conquered her senses, and as soon as her senses were controlled, symptoms of love of Godhead appeared in her. As soon as her senses. प्रसिद्ध वैष्णवी हैला परम महांति बड़ बड़ वैष्णव तार दर्शने तयांति. Thus the prostitute became a celebrated devotee. She became very advanced in spiritual life, and many stalwart Vaishnavas would come to see her. Stalwart, highly advanced Vaishnava devotees are not interested in seeing prostitutes, but when a prostitute or any of the fallen soul becomes a Vaishnava, stalwart Vaishnavas are interested in seeing them. Anyone can be converted into a Vaishnava if he or she follows the Vaishnava principles. A devotee who follows these principles is no longer on the material plane. Therefore, it is one's strict adherence to the principles that should be considered, not the country of one's birth. Many devotees join our Krishna consciousness movement from Europe and America, but one should not therefore consider them European Vaishnavas or American Vaishnavas. A Vaishnava is a Vaishnava and should therefore be given all the respect due a Vaishnava. So she became such a great devotee. Other many stalwart Vaishnavas would come to see her. Means it's possible for each and everyone to become a great devotee. Anybody can do that, provided we follow the principles, especially the chanting of the holy names, very serious. Also, the 6 opulences of Krishna. Remember? Beauty, name, fame, Aishwarya, opulence, renunciation, knowledge. So when one starts or when one becomes more advanced, then 1, 2, or all the 6 opulences to some degree. So Krishna has everything in full. We cannot have that in full. To some degree, it starts manifesting in us. Because we are getting closer and closer to Krishna. But that's also a test. If we start thinking that I am becoming famous, it's because of my chanting, or my being more advanced, or I am so advanced, then that's a fall down. It's the beginning of the fall. Any opulence or any qualities we acquire while we are performing devotional service is only by the mercy of Krishna. No other reason. Not that we are qualified. See, she became celebrated because of her devotion to Krishna, for sadhana, for devotion to Haridas Thakur. But if she started behaving, oh, I'm such a big Vaishnava, or big Vaishnavi, and everybody should worship me, then that's the beginning of all down. So this humility should always remain with us. That's what Mahaprabhu gave that instruction. Trinadapi Shunchen, Daruriva Sahish. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that Vaishnava should be worn around our neck as Kantimala. That shloka should be worn around our neck as Kantimala. Means we should always be looking at it and remembering it, that nothing, no quality that I possess that is making me successful in any way, in any of these exorbitances. Nothing that I have. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in one bhajan, Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pae, tomara karuna sa. Who Vaishnav Thakur means he's praying to his guru or the Vaishnavas. If I think of any quality or any capability I have nothing. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pae. Tomar karuna saath, your compassion, your mercy is the essence of everything that I have. That humility is what is required for us to make progress. Not that I have knowledge, I have any other quality that I can sing kirtan in 1,000 different tunes and let people dance for hours and hours. No, nothing that I have. It's all mercy of Guru and Krishna. That has to be in our heart, always. Veshyara charitra dekhi loke chamatkara, Haridasera mahima kahe kari namaskara. Seeing the sublime character of the prostitute, everyone was astonished. Everyone glorified the influence of Haridas Thakur and offered him obeisances. It is said, Phalen parichiyate, one is recognized by the result of his actions. In Vaishnava society, there are many types of Vaishnavas. Some are called Goswamis, some are called Swamis, some are Prabhus, and some are Prabhupada. One is not recognized, however, simply by such a name. A spiritual master is recognized as an actual guru when it is seen that he has changed the character of his disciples. Haridas Thakur actually changed the character of the professional prostitute. People greatly appreciated this, and therefore they all offered obeisances to Haridas Thakur and glorified him. Ramachandra Khan aparad bij kaila sei bij vriksha haya agete falila. By inducing a prostitute to disturb Haridas Thakur, Ramchandra Khan caused a seed of offense at his lotus feet to germinate. This seed later became a tree, and when it fructified, Ramchandra Khan ate its fruits. Means we cannot run away from our karma, especially such a offensive karma. Trying to implicate Haridas Thakur, a Mahabhagavat, obviously the reaction will be very great. Mahad aparadhera fal adbhuta katha. Prastava paya kahi shunam bhaktagan. This offense at the lotus feet of an exalted devotee has resulted in a wonderful narration. Taking advantage of the opportunity afforded by these incidents, I shall explain what happened. For devotees, please listen. Sahajai Avaishnava Ramachandra Khan Haridasera Parade Haila Surasam. Ramchandra Khan was naturally a non-devotee. However, now having offended the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur, he became just like a demoniac atheist. Vaishnav dharma ninda kare Vaishnava apaman bahu dinera parade paila parinam. Because of blaspheming the cult of Vaishnavism and insulting the devotees for a long time, he now received the results of his offensive activities. Ramchandra Khan was a great offender at the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas and Vishnu. Just as Ravan, although born of a Brahmin father, Vishwashrava, was nevertheless called an Asura or Rakshas because of his offenses against Lord Ramchandra, Vishnu, and Hanuman, a Vaishnav. So Ramchandra Khan also became such an Asura because of his offenses against Haridas Thakur and many others. Nityananda Gosai Gode Yabe Aila, Prema Pracharite Tape, Brahmite Lagita. When Lord Nityananda returned to Bengal to preach the cult of Bhakti, love of Godhead, he began touring all over the country. Prema pracharanar pashanda dalan dui karya avadhuta karena brahman. For two purposes, to spread the cult of bhakti and to defeat and subdue the atheists, Lord Nityananda, the most dedicated devotee of the Lord, moved throughout the country. So as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrita dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Lord Krishna appears in every millennium for two purposes, namely to deliver the devotees and to kill the non-devotees. His devotees also have two similar purposes: to preach the bhakti cult of Krishna consciousness and to defeat all kinds of agnostics and atheistic demons. Nityanand Prabhu carried out the order of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this way, and those who strictly follow Nityanand Prabhu perform the same activities. There are two classes of devotees. One is called Goshti Anandi and the other is called Bhajan Anandi. A devotee who does not preach but always engages in devotional activities is called a Bhajan Anandi. Whereas a devotee who not only is expert in devotion service but who also preaches the cult of bhakti and defeats all kinds of agnostics is called a Goshti Anandi. Sarvagya Nityananda Aila Tarak Hare Asiya Vasila Durga Mandapa Upare. Lord Nityananda, who is omniscient because he is the Supreme Personality of God, came to the house of Ramchandra Khan and sat down on the altar of the Durga Mandap. The well-to-do Hindu gentlemen constructed their houses with a place called the Durga Mandap for the worship of goddess Durga. There they generally held worship of the goddess every year in the month of Ashwin, September, October. Ramchandra Khan possessed such a Durga Mandap at his residence. So Nityanand Prabhu came to this. This has to be many, many, many years later. Anelok janang sange angan bharila Gitar haite Ramachandra sevaka pathaila. When the Durga Mandap and courtyard became filled with crowds of men, Ramchandra Khan, who was inside the house, sent his servant to Lord Nityananda. In those days, and also even now, the palatial buildings of respectable people, especially in the villages of Bengal, were divided into two parts. The inside part was especially meant for the family and the ladies who would live there, unexposed to men. That part was called the Bhitar Badi, or inside house. In the outside house of Bahir Badi, the respectable gentleman received visitors and kept his business office. The Durga Mandap would be part of the outside house. Thus, when Lord Nityananda entered the outside house, Ramchandra Khan was in the inside house with the members of his family. When Nityanand Prabhu arrived, Ramchandra Khan did not receive him personally, but sent a servant to inform him indirectly to go away. Sevak bale gosai more pathai lakhan grihasther ghare tomai dibba vasast. The servant informed Lord Nityananda, "My dear sir, Ramchandra Khan has sent me to accommodate you in some common man's house." So that is again more offensive to Nityanand Prabhu. Nityanand Prabhu himself has come, and Ramchandra Khan, instead of even coming out to receive him, he has made arrangement for him to stay at some common man's house. So anyway, we'll stop here and see what happens tomorrow. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance.
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
about the demons or the people who don't realize that what they are doing. So, how should we treat them? Because उनको तो पता ही नहीं है ना कि वो कर क्या रहे हैं, वो किसका अपमान कर रहे हैं. मतलब यहाँ पे रामचंद्र खान हो या इन जनरल भी जो लोग होते हैं वो मतलब डिवोटीज को मतलब इस तरह से नहीं देखते जैसे कि एक डिवोटी देखते हैं। तो उनके लिए तो वो बस नॉर्मल चीज है। तो कैसे उनको ऑफेंडर्स बहुत ज्यादा बड़ा ऑफेंडर कैसे मान लेना चाहिए या उनसे कंपैशनेट होना चाहिए ना प्रभु जी।
See, Haridas Thakur did not take the offense. He basically left that house or that place where prostitute had come. It was Krishna who took that as an offense to his devotee.
ओके प्रभु जी।
Yeah, people don't know. So devotees in pretty much every circumstance, they just forgive. They just forgive before even the offense is committed. But it is Krishna who doesn't forgive like so easily. So
कभी हम भी जब न्यूफाइट होंगे थे और अभी भी है इनफैक्ट तो बहुत सारे डिवोटीज को हम उतना सीरियसली नहीं ले पाते हैं और हम भी कमिट करते हैं ऑफेंसेस एवरी टाइम। तो दैट इज आल्सो फॉर अस आल्सो नो इवन दो वी आर trying to be a devotee.
oh yeah, it's very much for us. Very much. We commit so many offenses, that's why we don't make such fast progress as mentioned in all the scriptures that you'll make very great progress. That's why we are not making.
Yes, Prabhuji.
We have to be very careful.
मुझे तो लगता है प्रभु जी कि अगर कोई नॉर्मल इंसान को भी मैं कभी करेक्ट कर देती हूँ तो कल को पता चलता है वो बुरी चीज जो मैंने दूसरे को करेक्ट की है दूसरे को सुधारने की कोशिश की है वो मेरे अंदर ही दिखने लगता है मुझे उसके बाद से। तो मुझे बहुत सस्पिशन होता है अब किसी को ऐसे टोकने में किसी चीज के लिए।
It just, yeah, we have to preach, but we have to be careful also. It's both ways.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, we got to be careful.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for the class.
Thank you, Mata. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri
Krishna.
Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji.